Hey, it's Wendy here. It's Friday, March 6th, 2020. We're in 2nd Chronicles 12. So, when King Rehoboam had established the kingdom, he got cocky and he forsook the law of the Lord and all Israel with him. So, in his 5th year, Shishak, king of Egypt, came against Jerusalem because they had transgressed against the Lord. So God says the reason, I'll get to that, hold on. So he took the cities of Judah also. Then Shemaiah the prophet told Rehoboam, King Rehoboam, his people and kingdom being overtaken was a direct result of him forsaking God. So you know how sometimes God, you feel like you don't know why something is happening? Well, in this case, God told him the reason you are being overtaken by your enemies is because you forsook me. And basically, he got cocky. Okay, so Rehoboam and the princes of Israel, then when they heard this, then they humbled themselves to the Lord. So the Israelites were not killed, but they did become servants of Egypt. So that's a very tough lesson for them to have learned. So King Rehoboam was 41 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 17 years. So, but it says, at the end of each king's reign, God kind of wraps up his reign into either he obeyed and did good in the sight of God, or he did evil in the sight of the Lord. And unfortunately, Rehoboam did mostly evil in the sight of the Lord. So, and it said the reason he did evil is because he prepared not his heart to seek the Lord. And I just want to think about that for a minute because, a lot of people, even if they believe in the Bible, I don't know, it's like you feel like if you've read the Bible once, you're good to go. And I'm sure I've thought that at some point in my life. But the Bible has such power and amazing lessons from people who've been there, done that. And I just think that we glean so much from the Bible when we read it. Okay, so Rehoboam died, and his son Abijah became king when he passed on. And he had already kind of set Abijah up to take over. Okay, so then we go to the New Testament, Acts chapter 26. So as you remember, Paul has been imprisoned for more than 2 years, and they're all wanting to judge him. He's bouncing from judge to ruler to king to everybody. So at this point, Paul is defending himself in front of King Agrippa. Basically, Paul tells him his whole life story. And Paul had mentioned that King Agrippa had knowledge of the Jews and their customs. So Paul was excited to be able to defend himself in front of King Agrippa, probably thinking, he understands our customs. He will probably be for me. Well, Festus, in the middle of Paul's testimony or whatever, Festus yells and says, you're mad, Paul, you're mad. You're too much learning has made you mad. And so, but then Agrippa told Festus that Paul may have been set at liberty if he had not appealed unto Caesar. So I think even King Agrippa realizes that all the leadership are using Paul as a pawn for their own purposes, their own political gain, etc. So, like I said, it's not looking good for Paul. All right. In our YouVersion devotion for today, Psalm 23, verse 5 says, "You prepare a feast for me in the presence of my enemies. You honor me by anointing my head with oil. My cup overflows with blessings." I think that's a different version, but it says that God gives us his protection, his provisions, and his providence. So we have nothing to fear because God fills our cup with courage. So if you have enemies, if you are feeling overwhelmed like David probably was when he had to fight Goliath, even though it didn't really seem that way, it seemed like he was like, let me at him. Then we can turn to God and ask him for all of who he is. I mean, he's everything. So anything we need, he's got it. He's there. I hope that everyone is healing, the ones who are sick. I'm getting there. But I hope that you will send me your prayer requests if you need prayer for anything. I hope you have a good Friday and a good weekend, and I'll talk to you Monday. Bye.